Hi, I'm Caitlin Kelleher, and I'm going to be talking about differentiation and engagement. So, a first look, I just wanted to show about school and how each individual student is brains are unique and consequently have different needs. So, we have to teach for each different student. By recognizing these unique configurations of the brain through brain-based learning, we can see the individual needs in our professional setting and be able to help more in the learning environment. Um, Introduction, as I'll do introduction, differentiation, strategies in classroom in relation to brain-based learning and strategies to enhance engagement. So I am a preschool student and I work with all my coworkers work with preschool students. As we work with such young students, it is the beginning of their schooling journey. So we are figuring out the way they learn as they are figuring out the way they learn. That could be discovering whether it's visual, auditory, reading, writing, preference, and kinesthetic learning. As we are creating the engagement and positive environment, it is crucial because this is the beginning of their journey. And we have to take this into consideration as we are all figuring out each other. So, adding differentiation into the classroom will just allow me to help each individual student. First, we're going to talk about differentiation, and that is tailoring education to every learner. As each student learns differently, we need to make the changes in order to help each student. Part of being a teacher is adapting. Each year we have different students. Every student learns differently. We need to adapt to each student in order to have them all grow and get information from each lesson. As we can teach a lesson, if nobody's understanding it, we need to reteach it. So we need to adapt to be able to get the information across. Um, Understanding educational strategies will help align the brain, so the brain-based learning will come into par as well as we are understanding. I like this quote: "Imagine a classroom where lessons are not only tailored to each student's unique needs, but also optimized for how their brains naturally function." So as we're learning about brain-based learning in these workshops and tailoring it with differentiation and engagement, we can align all of it together in order to make the best out of the situation and make each student successful. So my strategies were mind mapping and chunking information. Mind mapping is the visual tool, so this will help the visual learners. And the main ideas at the top, and then you are organizing information, which is connecting ideas. So it's mapping of the ideas. Chunking information is like annotating and it's breaking it down into bite-sized segments, which is where they'll be able to chunk the information and better understand it and then connect the entire idea. This is just a picture. Engagement. Students being involved and hands-on is how they learn. If they're not engaged in the lesson, they're not going to take anything out of it. They're daydreaming, they're thinking about something else. Pre-K is where the students are in their first learning environment. So we need to create this hands-on learning experience and they're engaged with the material, then they're learning and they can get something out of it. In relation to brain-based learning, it's relationships, relevancy, and the learning process. Knowing our students is the first step to authentically engaging with them. And we only really know them when we build authentic relationships in our classroom. Things like what they relate to and what they'll be more interested in, what's relevant to them. So if we adapt our lessons and differentiate for each student, we can have everyone engaged. The learning process, we want our students to be truly excited about the content. We need to make it where it's relevant to them and invest time and energy in order to make it for each of our students each year, which changes. Five, strategies to bring engagement in through brain-based learning, sensory play, hands-on, everyone's in it. They're working on their motor skills, they're using their senses, their auditory, visual, tactile, sensory, everything. It is the best way to be engaged and get something out of it, I feel. Brain breaks, it renews the focus and energy. They need a break. They need to time to restart and avoid the boredom and stay engaged throughout the whole lesson. There's pictures, and this just stood out to me for teacher. You instruct, encourage, praise, coach, help, guide, and respect. And I feel like that is part of the whole deal where you need to be engaged and work for each student. And these are my references.